This video covers the landmark case of SWEATT versus Painter, specifically focusing on the initial trial in the Travis County District Court in Texas from 1946 to 1947. The case involved plaintiff Heman Marion SWEATT, who challenged Theophilus S. Painter, president of the University of Texas. This civil rights case challenged higher education segregation in Austin, Texas. Heman SWEATT, a qualified black applicant, was denied admission to the UT School of Law solely due to his race under Texas segregation laws. His lawsuit sought admission and created the factual record that led to the 1950 Supreme Court ruling. In February 1946, President Painter returned SWEATT's application, citing Texas's prohibition of integrated education. Represented by the NAACP Legal Defense Fund, SWEATT argued he had a constitutional right to attend the established UT Law School, as no equal black law school existed in Texas. In response, Texas hastily created a separate quote, law school for Negroes, which lacked essential resources. The state argued it could be made equal in time. The district court sided with the state, granting time to develop the separate school, forcing SWEATT to appeal. The plaintiff's theory centered on the state's failure to provide an equal law school for black students. They argued SWEATT had a constitutional right to attend UT Law School, and that segregation violated the 14th Amendment's Equal Protection Clause. Plaintiff arguments emphasized the non-existence of an equal law school for black students. They asserted that the creation of a new, segregated school proved the inherent inequality of the current system, violating the Equal Protection Clause. Multiple witnesses testified on behalf of the plaintiff to challenge the state's segregation policy and demonstrate the inequality of the proposed separate legal education. Heman Marion SWEATT was the lead plaintiff, a qualified applicant denied entry to UT Law based on race. His NAACP-backed lawsuit challenged segregation and resulted in the establishment of an unequal, separate law school. Dr. W.J. Durham, a prominent Dallas attorney, served as a key witness. He challenged the inherent inequality of segregated legal education, and his testimony documented the state's failures to provide equal facilities. Thurgood Marshall, the chief counsel for the plaintiffs, led the NAACP Legal Defense Fund's challenge against segregation. He presented Heman SWEATT's case in Austin and later became the first African-American Supreme Court justice. Robert L. Carter, a prominent attorney from New York City, also testified for the plaintiff. He challenged the inequality of separate legal education and documented the state's failure to provide equality. William Robert Ming Jr., an expert attorney from Chicago, served as a key witness. Ming challenged the quote, separate but equal doctrine and detailed the inherent inequality of segregated law schools. Spotswood W. Robinson III, a prominent Richmond attorney, was another key witness. He testified about the separate but equal legal education system, showing the inherent inequality of segregation. The respondents' theory upheld that Texas law required segregated educational institutions. They argued the state had the right to provide a separate black law school, and that it could eventually be made equal. They supported the district court's decision to grant time for development. Theophilus Painter defended the state's segregation laws, arguing that separate legal education could achieve equality. UT Law Dean McCormick also supported the separate but equal policy. The state was granted time to develop the separate black school. Several witnesses testified for the respondent, supporting the state of Texas's position to maintain segregated higher education under the separate but equal doctrine. Theophilus S. Painter, UT president and named defendant, returned SWEATT's application based on Texas's segregation law. His testimony staunchly defended the segregated higher education system. Charles T. McCormick, dean of the UT Law School, was a key respondent witness. He defended the separate but equal policy, testifying in support of the state's segregation laws. Dr. George Cox, president of Prairie View College, testified for the state. He supported Texas's plan for separate education, believing the state could adequately provide black graduate legal education. Dr. M.T. Walton, a prominent Austin physician, also served as a respondent witness. He supported the state's segregation laws, testifying that separate black legal education was adequate. The district court refused to immediately admit SWEATT, preserving segregation by allowing Texas time to establish the separate black law school. This ruling compelled Heman SWEATT and the plaintiffs to appeal. The district court decision was immediately appealed, moving the case to the Texas Court of Civil Appeals. The plaintiffs challenged the unequal system, seeking an immediate order for SWEATT's admission to UT Law School. SWEATT versus Painter directly challenged segregation in graduate education and established that a separate law school was inherently unequal. This trial's detailed record of inequality paved the way for the later Brown versus Board ruling. Thank you for watching this video on the initial trial of SWEATT versus Painter.